This has been long overdue. I've been promising a review of the Galaxy Mighty Mo tires, skid loader tires, for quite some time. And here they are, and here's what I think about them. I've used them for maybe 150 hours or so. And when I got them, I ended up getting a new set of rims and the tires. And I think I've got 1,600 bucks into the wheels and tires. So let me kind of take you in a further in depth and take a look at what they are. These are the Galaxy Mighty Mo tires. They're basically like a big zero turn tire. And so this mud here, I got my dump truck stuck the other day and I had this in the cornfield, and that's why there's some mud on these tires. But they're basically a big zero turn tire. And my idea here was it's a fat tire, it's a lot of surface area, and it doesn't dig in. If I had R4, just so you know, we had snow on the ground up until about a week ago. All that melted down. Then we had 2 days of sleet, and it's been about 4 days since any rainfall. So the ground is not dry. In fact, like I said, I got my dump truck stuck, really buried, had to get a big, like 200 horsepower tractor to get it out. The ground is definitely, it's not seeping with water, but it is not dry either. I got a new set of rims and this set of tires, and I did this because with an R4 tread design, it's got a lot of like big lugs and doesn't have a lot of areas in contact with the ground, and so the pounds per square inch of the machine is really high. And so with this being a fairly flat tire with a lot of these things in contact with the ground at one time, this actually lowers the ground pressure and you don't dig in as much. So if you can look, I mean, I drove through here, right? And so if you had like an R4 tire, right, you would be able to feel like lugs. And in fact, an R4 tire, almost, at least here, an R4 tire pretty much almost aerates the yard, if you know what I mean by that. It just leaves those lugs pushed in like an inch into the ground. And I have a set and have driven it through my yard, and that's how I know that. But this is pushed down grass, but when you feel the dirt, there's nothing to press. The ground's not disturbed. And so these tires have been excellent in running in turf. Now, if I took the machine and spun it around, you're not going to have any sod. It's just the way skid loaders are. So you've got to plan your path, and you need to make wide, long turns and always run the machine forward when you're turning or backwards when you're turning. Never just turn the joystick, because you will rip up sod no matter what tire you have. But these tires have been excellent, and they look good and they perform pretty well. Now, of course, you're not going to have the mud traction with these tires that you would have with an R4 tire or any other more dirt focused tire. You're definitely going to sacrifice some traction in mud and muck with these tires. But if you do a lot of like work in yards, then this is like your only option for a tire. I tried over the tire tracks and they're great, but they don't really work great for turf, for not disturbing turf. For the money, these work better for not disturbing turf. So I just kind of wanted to give a walkthrough, talk about them. Like I said, these are called Galaxy Mighty Mo's. They're 12 ply, and these are 12 by 16.5s. And that's where you can see the name here, Mighty Mo. And like I said, they're 12. These are 12 ply, and you can see that there's hardly any turf disturbance, which is incredible for, I mean, this machine's it's a 262B. I think it weighs about 7,500 pounds. I don't think that includes a bucket, so we're about 8,000 pounds here, I would guess. And minimum disturbance to the turf. So they're excellent tires, and I'm gonna go set the tripod up by my dirt pile, and I'm gonna run some dirt. I'm gonna back up to in fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get some dirt, and I'm with a heavy, with as much as I can get in there for weight, and I'm gonna come in here and see if it disturbs the ground any more than than it is. And I ran some gravel through the yard yesterday. I highly doubt there's going to be any disturbances, but I'm going to show you that just because that's going to be the maximum amount of weight you're going to have as a full bucket. And then I'll run some video footage of me running into that dirt pile and picking up material, because you're going to lose some traction. They're not an R4 tread design, but it's still a completely usable machine. If reducing turf damage is an important factor to you, then this is going to be a must-have in terms of wheels and treads. So let me get the tripod set up, and I'll kind of give you some more footage. So that is my dirt pile. I just want you to be able to see me coming into the pile, and I'm probably not going to have as good of traction as I do with my over-tire tracks or even my R4 tire. I'm going to drive into it, pick up some material. I'm actually need to consolidate these piles, so I'm going to pick that dirt up and I'm going to move it to that pile. I'm going to go get a skid loader and we'll do that. Okay, so you can see that's as much dirt as I'm going to be able to get in that bucket. And these are our original spots, okay? And like I said, the grass is pushed down, but there's no depression between the edge, okay? Normally with an R4 tire, you can feel a depression. So that does not happen with this. And then this is my set of tracks where I came in with a fully loaded bucket. And as you can see, and also let me point out that my wheels have wetness on them. Now it's 4:10 in the afternoon. So as I said, the ground here is very waterlogged. You can see there's wetness, and you can just tell by the dirt that the dirt is wet. This is wet ground. You know, it shouldn't be, with the fact that it's 4:10 and the ground is wet, should give you an idea of just how much water is in this ground right now. And so this is as much weight as the machine's ever going to have, and there's no depression between the ground, the edge where the tire isn't and isn't, there's no depression where the tire is and is not. So normally with an R4 tire, you get like a bunch of lugs pushed in, and I've made like paths that are like an inch deeper with the R4 tires, and this just doesn't happen with these. So, and you can see here where my tracks came in, it just looks like a lawnmower track, you know. Here's a spot that has no grass. There's no grass here, okay? So you can see there's barely any depression there. And what there is would come right back down with anything you're gonna walk on. See that? Now the only reason that made that mark there is because there was no grass. It was a spot of just dirt, and it's super wet. But that's not gonna happen. Like, if you've ran an R4 tire, you would know that smashing an R4 tire is not going to fix the smashing your foot over an R4 divot is not going to fix it. And so I feel like that's a pretty good representation. Skid loaders and turf never really make a good mix. And overall, if I was going to go with one set of tires for turf, it would be these Mighty Mows. I haven't found anything better than these Mighty Mows. And skid loaders are always rough when it comes to operating on turf, but this is about as best as you're gonna get for a turf tire for minimum disturbance of the turf. Look at that well summer right there behind that tire. That's hilarious. What are you doing? What are you doing, baby? What are you doing? Don't you lay an egg in there. That concludes our review of the Mighty Mo tires. Sorry it took so long to make the review. I would definitely, I would definitely recommend them. Chickens, you can never trust them. I would definitely recommend the Mighty Mo tires. I think they're an excellent value for a tire that's going to do minimal disturbance to the turf. With skid loaders, you always have turf disturbance. It's just the way they operate. But if you plan your turns and don't turn directly around, then these are excellent tires. And I would definitely use them way more over something like an R4 tire, because I used an R4 tire for about 6 months ago, and they were definitely like making ruts, and I would have to go back and back drag it, and it was just no fun. So definitely like and subscribe, and we'll continue bringing more videos of things we do on the farm. Thanks.